pretty much all the costs for the park here and doing repairs.
Okay. Yeah. It's,
Who assigned,
I'll look at
that's
that.
right.
And how long?
the Personnel Finance Committee is called to order. And it's February 22nd, 2024.
Today's the 21st.
Oh. What did I say?
22nd.
20.
I'm on vacation, I'm in Austin.
Yep, the 21st, 2024. First thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes for the, like we had some good minutes, I will approve those minutes and move forward. And next on the report, we have personnel updates.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
From January the 2024 to date, the HR department, we continue to do recruiting job applicants, screening job applicants, as well as risk management and workers' compensation. Overall, this we maintain a stable workforce compared to the previous month. We did have 2 transfers, which were part-time firemen. So
Okay.
they became full-time
Oh,
into new positions that were created in the public safety department. And we also had 1 person, a reserve officer that retired. So, and we do have 1 person on administrative leave.
okay.
We currently have 10 open positions. 5 is in the public safety department for PSO officers, as well as the community development grant manager position, the community development program coordinator position, and the water restoration and reevaluation project manager and engagement outreach specialist, deputy city clerk, and finance director.
Okay, just one second, just wanna, Director Little, do you have any update on your, them positions? The 3 that you're,
I will be having follow-up second interviews.
Talking to Mike.
I'm sorry. Said I will be having follow-up second interviews within the next 2 weeks. The 1 position, I think last time I was here, I mentioned to you that I made an offer to the gentleman, but that person wound up going somewhere else.
okay,
So that's kind of where we are now.
thank you, Director.
That concludes the resource.
Okay. Next, we have the city income tax.
The city income tax report for basically up until probably about the majority of the remainder of the year. I will probably be busy with preparing the individual and business tax returns. Annual reconciliations, they kind of fallen off because we normally receive them towards like end of the month or the beginning of the year. But they're coming in pretty well. It's a consistent, absolutely consistent flow. Tax returns are due this year before April the 30th. It's always 15 days after the regular tax season ends. If you live and or work within the city of Benton Harbor, you are subjected to pay city income taxes, whether they're withheld out of your paycheck or not.
Okay,
And that also goes for businesses, corporations, LLCs, things of the sort, that they're also, if they do business or have a business within a city, they're also subjected to pay city income tax. For comparison, from January of 2023 to January 2024, for the individual tax returns, we are up 28.60%. For withholdings, we are down 4.85%. For deposits, we are down 6.90%. Refunds are up 18.1%, and revenue is down 130.13%.
I know you were saying the income tax are due April 30th. Is there a penalty after, is some kind of, just like regular tax, is some kind of penalty?
Yes, so the system automatically does a penalty after 90 days if you owe and don't pay. However, I will be honest with you, the past year, since we've just like, people are getting familiar with the income tax, and some just say that they never knew that they had to pay income tax.
Okay.
I've been waiving fees, especially if they pay the amount that was due
Okay.
and just don't add in the penalty and interest. I don't send out another invoice stating that you owe this.
Okay.
I just will zero it out.
Thank you. Any questions? So I'm sure you're gonna be busy for the next couple months, yeah. Okay. Anything? That's it.
That concludes.
Could you tell me how much, oh no, go ahead, that's all right. All right, thank you. Okay, we're going. Ms. Henry?
I just want to ask her a question about, she spoke of some part-timers that moved into full-time public safety. Did they move into public safety or did they move into inspection?
It's a joint job description, so it's something new that was created. So basically, they're firemen as well as code enforcement officers. So it's like.
So they're not police officers, they're just firemen.
That's correct, PSO 1.
And where did they get their training to be inspection officers?
Well, that is normally like on-the-job training. The inspectors that we currently have, they go to training, well, they should go to training or get certified. However, that's like an on-the-job type of training that you do receive, especially if it's not specialized. So like rental inspections, you do have to go to class and supposed to get certified to know exactly what to look for. But I could let no one but it's not sort of like any special qualities that's needed for code compliance officers. But I believe what Dan was getting at is that most of the time, like firemen, because they are trained to go in and look for certain things in buildings. And while they're in there, they can kind of determine whether it's needed and what's not. And that's where the code compliance comes in.
I have a real problem with that. I mean, a real big problem with it. We don't bring up anyone to train anyone in our department. We bring in new people and then we give them jobs that don't have to have a certification, and we can't find anybody in the city that need a job and can do this. I'm having some real serious problems with that. Where does that come from?
It wasn't new people, they were already employees of the city?
No, they were part-time fire people. We have firemen and we have police officers, and they're supposed to be both of them in our department. That's what they left us with, a department with both of the police and the fire doing both jobs. So now we have part-time firemen that go and get a job in inspection with no training. Where did that come from? I just need to hear, because I saw it in the budget and I asked about it and nobody knew what was going on. But now it's happening. Right now it's happening because they've already taken this position. And come on, guys, we got to do something better. We just can't be doing the same thing and think we're going to get a better result. This is not working. We're not allowing our own people. They don't need training. They need some kind of training. But come on, guys.
We'll get an answer.
Something wrong with that picture. You need to go and talk to the equity group out of Michigan that's looking at what's going on with poor people and black and brown people in the United States. And you'll see that that is gentrification we just performed. Because none of our people these people come from outside of the city. And they don't have to be trained to come in my house and tell me something is wrong. Something is wrong with that.
Well, firemen are trained.
Yeah, but they're trained for firemen. They're not trained to inspect to see if your plumbing is right or if they're trained to look at fire stuff, electricity, they're trained for that. They're not trained. You already said they're not trained.
Correct, but they're not gonna be looking at plumbing, that is, plumbing is.
Well, what are they gonna look at? What they gonna look at? If they're gonna come in and inspection, what are they going to do? If they're trained to be firemen, you say they're gonna get trained to look at how a rental. Okay, that's fine. But my point is, if you got a job and your people need jobs, and here's a job that don't need no training much, why are we doing it? Why are we taking a high-end department, and I mean a high-end apartment? A lot of money goes to that department. Now that they're police, fire, and inspection. Come on, guys.
We'll get some communication from Chief McGinnis about
Thank
that
you,
position.
thank you,
How's
thank
that?
I could send you the job description as well.
Thank you, Minister Galladay. There you go, right there.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Galladay.
Thank you.
So he could probably answer, but I'll talk to him in person, and then if it needs to be public, I'll bring it out again.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah, we was talking about you.
I was just, as far as the income tax, I want to know if there was any changes as far as where our money is located. And I'm not saying where, I'm not asking you to say where, but is it in the same place?
Yes.
Yes, it is. I'm not for sure where this is coming from and why we keep getting the same question, but the funds was never moved.
I
It has
just
never
asked,
been moved.
I'm allowed as a citizen to ask you
I-
anything that I feel like I should.
Thank you.
Whether you think it's right or wrong.
No, I didn't say it was wrong, sir. I was
Okay,
just
well,
stating
don't
that.
punish me in no way. That was like a punishment.
Thank you, Minister Galladay. Thank you.
I just asked the question and you wouldn't let me get an answer without a bunch of rules.
Okay, next we have financial.
I'm not taking it out, if I get that. You treat me like that, I will treat you like that.
Sorry.
Then, be honest, my person, and we have a lot more to say.
Go ahead, Ron.
Okay. Financials, there's 46 pages as usual, and I'll go through the highlights of the cash
Okay.
and some of the spending for the month of January. Cash is low in the general fund,
Mhm.
utility services funds. So just want to make sure that we keep spending at a minimum
Mhm.
necessities.
How's the water payment? It's getting
We
steady
have,
flow, yeah.
no, it hasn't started flowing yet, but we've had some activity.
Mm-hmm.
Several people I want to say like 35 people have already come to the payment center and set up payment terms. So as long as we get people in with that, then they have to stay current with the current bill, but if they make their payment plans, then I think things will start picking up.
Because we did send out letters, right, to the city residents.
Correct.
All right.
Property tax collections, there will be a large sum of money coming into the city in February. As a matter of fact, I'll have that figure tomorrow, because we had the taxes split. This half was due on February 15th, so there's been a sizable amount of property taxes collected, so that will be distributed this week. As far as project spending, general fund, there's been $1.3 million spent to date on the local road and alley project in this fiscal year. Major road program, $445,000 on Pawpaw Avenue. The ARPA fund, there was no activity in the month of January other than $52,000 was loaned to CDBG to pay expenses, but money gets paid back in February when the money's received from HUD. So it's just a float. So there was $52,000 that went out in January and they'll get repaid in February. Because HUD is very, very, very quick in reimbursing funds.
And that'll bring the ARPA funds.
Right, it'll be back up to about $947,000. Utility fund projects are up to $3.3 million. There was $550,000 spent on the lead service line, about 2.9 on water distribution, and 115 on the water plant project. The water distribution project is going to start moving again in March, so we'll start seeing some large construction costs coming through, and these are all totally funded by the money from the state of Michigan, $45 million. And then as far as budget goes, I'm on vacation Friday through next week, and then when I get back, we'll be putting out packets to all the department heads, and we're gonna start with all the trusts.
Okay.
So,
Start with the timeline.
Right.
Mhm. Do we get any, I'm sure the marijuana money tax that
Not yet.
Not yet.
I wanna say that came in May last year. Yeah, it was close to the end of the fiscal year when it came in. And last year was 150. This year it should be a little higher. Two more this year.
A couple more, yeah.
Anything?
They took their personal property tax off, didn't they?
Yeah, they did, but that money flows through from the state a different way. There's a payment that the city gets in October and February from the state of Michigan, and it's ranges from 150,000 to 380,000, and it's a formula. I have no idea where they come up with it, but they replenish the city and all the other municipalities for the loss of personal property tax twice a year. And that money should be coming this month sometime. I haven't seen it yet. It should be there. So the state tried to make that up, that piece.
Okay. Last night meeting, there was a question about a check. Did we ever get an answer for that? That was after you left. It was a.
Talking to Mike, Co-Chair.
Can you hear me now?
Of course, you do now.
Last night after you left, it was a question about a couple of checks. I think one of them was to Mr. Campbell's operation. I guess the dates were.
Yeah, we're pulling all of it, and I don't have them. We're pulling them all to look at all the, like, since September, to see how all the dates fall and look at the invoices, so we can have a idea on what the date range is. Some of the descriptions in the accounts payable, I noticed, haven't been changed, so they're not, I think the one did say grass mowing, and I looked at the invoice and it wasn't grass mowing. The invoice itself was for mowing leaves and tree like limb removal. But we'll get all those since September on a list and get the invoices.
Okay.
And just one more thing, will you please run and have a invoice sit down? The total of grass cutting we paid out to two contractors for grass cutting. Started in, I think we started cutting grass in May until
April.
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 Yeah, yeah, yeah.
April to October. Thank you.
Okay, so
April to
you'd like
The whole total,
just total grass mowing for the season?
Yeah, for the
Mowing-
season, for the-
Mowing season, even if it crossed,
yes,
right?
yes.
Okay, for all the
All the contractors,
contractors,
yes.
okay,
Mhm.
sure. Yeah, we usually do that
Yeah,
anyway, right before you guys decide to get into another contract with people.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can get that.
all right, thank you so much.
And, while you're doing that, I think it was some extra trash or like sit outs and stuff like that. If we can find out how much we spent on that.
The extra trash,
Yeah, like, what, somebody dumping a field or something.
okay, I'll get with,
Reliable.
Yeah, I think some of the, I don't know if we had any private contractors, going around picking up. I know we got rid of the, what was it, Fast, somebody Fast something.
I don't think that was last year.
yeah, then that was like 2
2 years ago, yeah.
Where Fast Track or something like
Mm.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
They were paying a lot. I don't recall seeing, but I will look.
Okay.
I don't recall any invoices repeatedly like that one
Mhm.
coming through this past year. So it'd be onesie, twosie, but
Okay.
I will get that. So it's the trash, special trash removal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would be what the city, Public Works pick up and deposit in the landfill? Or will that be those packages, those, pickups from Reliable?
Well, I know those would be easy with the dumpsters, you know, because that's like a lump sum, but I'm talking about like the, somebody dump in the middle of the street somewhere and
I believe some of that, Public Works does pick up and put in to have reliable, because I do see a fluctuation
Yeah.
sometime in the reliable bill, and I'll ask, and
Okay.
it's usually because they've gone out and picked up trash in an area in the
Mhm.
city.
Okay.
But I'll find out how that's being paid for,
Okay.
and how much.
Chief McGinnis.
I'm just visiting. However, we cut grass till, you said April, it was September.
No, from starting in April
So
Starting there.
Probably, it was
till
probably more like
October.
it was more like October.
Mhm.
I'll
April
get
to
the
October.
whole
Yeah.
kit and caboodle.
The other thing as far as trash pickup, remember, going back to our committee, the whole breakdown in actually charging for trash pickup. So you're not gonna have a lot of records, because we weren't necessarily doing it right process-wise.
Oh, okay, right.
So a lot of times, Public Works picked it up.
Mhm.
And never,
Yeah, and that would be more in an individual's house where they have extra stuff.
Mhm.
But there's also like the tires and things that,
But we were picking up all that.
Set out.
Not actually,
getting a receipt and nothing like that.
no, you were just sending Public Works. There might have been a couple times they said Johnny would have been in. Johnny is Mosley's his name.
Mosley.
Yeah, but those were one of the things we wanted to fix, because you were just giving them trash for free.
Mhm.
Trash for free. So,
Okay.
we do that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Ron. Go ahead, Commissioner Henry.
I hate to bring up old, festive sores, but in June of last year, we approved the budget. And there's been questions over and over and over how we amend the budget.
Mhm.
And so far, we haven't even started per the charter. Says we're supposed to be looking at this year's budget.
Right.
And we have not amended last year's budget.
Mhm.
And I'd like to know what happened. Because there were some datelines that we were supposed to get to, and we never got to. And it comes directly out of this committee.
Right. We gotta get back on track. Commissioner, so.
I beg your pardon?
See, wait a minute before you start.
No, I just wanted to hear
I said
what
we
you
gotta get on
said.
track. That's what I said.
And
We
how
gotta
did
get on track.
how do you
Well, we gotta
suspect?
go and get it done.
When you gonna do it?
When we gonna do
When we gonna do it?
it?
Next month?
Listen,
Today?
write yours down, and we starting right there. You
I
got
beg your
yours,
pardon?
write yours down, what you want to be amended. You got yours, what you want to be amended, the items?
No, you got it. And I want you to do it because you're the chair.
Okay, I'll take care of that. Thank you, Commissioner.
When?
When I get time, Commissioner, we're in a meeting right now. You just here to talk about the budget?
No. This is what you talk about in personnel and finance. That's personnel and finance.
So we will be amending
So
the
ask,
budget.
maybe
Have you
Ms.
got any amendments?
Hildebrand
Any
has some
amendments?
idea.
I haven't received any yet, but that will be part of the discussion with the department managers, because in this packet, you have the original budget for 22-23 or 23-24,
Mhm.
and the spending to date. And we will be looking at that to see where there's up, downs, and if commissioners have things they want put in here, we can do that as well.
What date do you think that we're gonna do that, since we're already almost out of February?
We will start the process the first part of March.
You'll start the process?
Right.
That means you'll go to department heads, or you'll come to us?
I
With
can
the,
do both.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry.
that is great.
See there?
So,
Thank you,
and then
Ron.
I'll accumulate things and take a look at it.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
But I will mention though,
Okay,
we still need to take a last review of it, this year's budget, right before June, because you cannot be overspent
mhm,
in any department in the general fund.
okay.
So we have to take the ideas, the things we know today, but there's still 5 more months of actual. And if we have a hiccup, we need to amend the budget to include that hiccup in June. And we won't know it. Some of this stuff we don't even know until June. But we can start the process and make changes first of March.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Mr. Rapids.
Just a question on the, came up in the audit at a commission meeting, $100,000 that was borrowed from the cemetery
Mhm.
or vice versa. Is there any clarification on that?
Yeah, all it is, I mean, the money's there. It's sitting in a bank account for the operating account of the cemetery.
Yeah.
That money's owed to the perpetual care fund.
Right.
All that needs to happen is it needs to be moved in an account, bank account, separate from the operating and just designated as perpetual care fund money.
Designated as what?
Perpetual care fund money. But the IOU is on the books and the cash is there.
And who would perform that account creation?
I believe the city manager can set up an account and sign it. But the money is there.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
tracking.
just in the wrong bank. And it's, like I said, set up as an IOU.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ron.
And I have to leave, so
Okay.
is there anything else that?
I just wanna remind Ms. Hildebrand about the 425 agreement, and that she's gonna do some research on that, because it's causing me to have anxiety if we're gonna be, attached with a large bill or something, and none of us know about the 425, but it's ready to sunset now pretty soon. So I'm asking her to look into it and come back with, what she found.
Thank you, Commissioner Henry,
on my
for your hard work.
I will forget.
Yeah, I know
Thank
you
you,
have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Right, next we have public comments, but, anybody got public comments? Thank you.
What?
Go ahead, Mr. Duncan, you got a public
I
comment?
always have a public comment. I always try to be last, so I won't be and hold you guys up. But I'd like to know where Mr. Mitchell at? Because I had one question for him. Is he,
That's him.
Assistant city manager right there.
oh, that's right.
May I help you?
Okay. Excuse me?
May I help you?
Yeah. This driveway out here,
Yes,
you guys use it like we do,
yes.
don't you? You have it going down that driveway?
Actually,
So-
that'll be on the early list to try to get something done.
That'll be on the,
An early list to try to get something done. I agree with you.
okay, so when is that early? When is that early, let's go stuff?
I don't want to tell you the lies.
Okay, well then I'm gonna kind of make a suggestion to the chair.
Yes, Mr. Duncan.
Take care of that, would you?
Yes,
I know you gotta be tired of driving
I know,
your
man.
truck through that.
yes. Well, you just talked, you said,
Yeah, but right now I'm talking to you.
okay.
I asked you, would you, and you said you would, and I was done with it. You guys will have to just keep on going on and on like a broke record.
Right, we do need the parking lot, city hall lot repaired,
Like,
resurfaced.
like yesterday or something?
Yes,
Okay, that's what we'll do to fix.
as soon as they get the asphalt hot.
Oh.
As soon as they get the, yeah, you know,
You gonna put asphalt down there? Okay.
well, whatever, yeah, Commissioner Henry.
All right.
Okay, I'm bring this public comment up. May Street. May Street is a major street. It's used by our people. Outside people do not come into the community and use May Street. They use Pipestone, Colfax, but the neighborhood uses May Street. Have you driven down May Street? There's more crater holes and problems with May Street. Why do our engineers focus on someplace other than local? I'm sick of that. May Street, go down May Street. And it's a major street, but it has not been, the last time it was worked on, they did patching, just little, run the little lines through it. But it's horrible.
I think Main Street is on the list to be resurfaced.
It is.
It is, Main Street.
When?
We voted on it, Commissioner.
But when?
We gotta, you see the weather, Commissioner, I don't.
Oh, okay, that's all I want.
But it's on the
We
list
voted
to
on
be
it.
resurfaced, yeah.
We voted on it, and it's gonna happen,
Yeah.
okay. That's all I need, thank you. I tell the people that we said we're gonna do it.
That's right.
They just have to be patient when we do it.
Well, it's.
That's what I
it's
felt.
seasonal type stuff. You gotta wait for the weather and.
No, you don't.
I'm good, I'm gonna
Okay.
tell them what you said.
Well, what we see, we voted
No,
on
we
it.
didn't say that, cause I don't have no answer for them, other than you telling me it's in the process to be done.
Yeah.
And I'll say that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next, any more public comments? Thank you. Next, we have old business. The first thing is the Chip and Science Act. We've been talking about this for the last couple of meetings. Director Little brought some information today. Planning to expand U.S. chip manufacturing are running into obstacles. I get a chance to read it all. So, Director Little, what kind of obstacles are we looking at here?
Well, there seem to be quite a few,
We talking to the mic.
there seem to be quite a few. Some seem to be political in nature.
Uh-huh.
Some, dealing with, other factors that are entering into it. When that act was first enabled, I wrote letters to a number of these companies because I was looking to find one that would come into our area that would, because they're huge water users. But got no real response. And what activity I've seen taking place generally involves state government. There's such huge operations and the investment is so great that goes into them. Typically, when they come into a state, it's linked with state government in terms of where it goes, how much money the state puts into the pot to help them get located wherever they, kind of like the battery plant that you just read about recently on the other side of Battle Creek there. But in any event, those are some of the challenges that are taking place with the effort that the federal government had undertaken to try and bring that chip manufacturing back home, because they recognize that in the event of a war or something of that nature, we need to be able to have our own supply of those kind of things. So I just thought I would share that so that you would have a firsthand opportunity to read what's happening on it and that type of thing.
Not over the Chip and Science Act. Yeah.
So you gonna continue to send out letters or just, you're not gonna?
We'll continue to try and pursue it, but I'm gonna try to do it through the state government.
Okay.
One of the things that you must recognize, I should say this at this point, any success that we would have, whether through state government or otherwise, what you really will be talking about is a joint arrangement between the township and the city.
Okay.
Because you have no place in the city that's large enough to put a plan of the size that those would take. It would be a situation similar to what I undertook back in the 80s when we were going to get the Italian car manufacturer here. And we wound up working with the township on what they call a contract annexation that was passed by the legislature a number of years ago when Chrysler was trying to put a plant in Highland Park. And basically it's where you negotiate for up to 50 years a certain property to become part of the community that's receiving it, but then you work out an agreement on details, who provides, which community provides safety, which community provides water, sewer, whatnot, and so forth, and sharing of tax revenues and all that kind of thing. I just think it's worthwhile for me to mention that, because it's not going to be just this issue. There are going to be other issues too, where large properties are going to be needed that we don't have within our 4.3 square miles.
Any question? Well, we'll continue to look further into this, because I know if it do happen, we're gonna need a workforce.
Absolutely.
Supplies, so.
That means housing.
That's right, so it's a lot into this. We'll keep having this on the agenda. Commissioner, you got anything to say about the Chip and Science?
Oh, anything to move us forward.
Yes, so we'll continue to keep this on the agenda, to get something going. Thank you. Next, we have finance director position. And I did send out the 4 resumes. I know some commissioners got them.
When you send it.
The date, that's been over.
Oh, that one. Oh, okay.
So, yeah, so we got 4 and the HR is gonna communicate with the 4 and see if they're still interested. And so we're gonna keep moving forward to work diligently on getting us a finance director.
Well, I looked at all 4 of them and I didn't see any one of them qualified.
Okay. Well, me, you gonna sit down and have a one-on-one and talk about it. How's that? Maybe I can help you see something.
Okay,
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Henry. Next, we have the responsible contractor policy. I put this on there. I was doing some research on this deal and, and look at how it can benefit the city of Ben Harbor. I know we vote on this? Did we have a resolution for this or did we just stop at cold?
It was turned down.
It was turned down.
Mm-hmm.
So I put this on there. I've been doing some research about it and how it could help, bring jobs and, young people need jobs, and training. And I know LMC has started an apprenticeship program. It's very important that we get our residents involved, and that's why I started my apprenticeship and finished my apprenticeship. And when I was out there, going to get my apprenticeship, I was a little older and going to school, but I realized I was not the only black, but there wasn't that many blacks out there going to, for an apprenticeship program. So I cannot just sit back and do something myself, try to pull somebody, to a better paying job, It means, so I had to work, go to school and all that, and journeyman, get card and all that. But it took work. But I had to start at the bottom and make it to the top. So I think this responsible contracting policy will help, If we don't look into it, we'll never know, I see that, but I know we'll never know if we don't try. So I know Director Little, go ahead. Let's have it.
The objectives that you are articulating are worthy, but this is not the means to pursue it. I could sit and just say nothing
Okay,
or tell you what you need to know. When Ray McGee brought this to us well over a year or so, I went through it with a fine-tooth comb. Most of the things that are of real significance in there are already addressed elsewhere in like the policies and procedures that we did with the HUD program, or under other provisions like and we get them updated constantly, final rule, updated Davis-Bacon and related acts. All of this stuff is covered by the federal government in terms of their requirements they place on us. I made the statement when this came up before, that the way this thing is written,
Right.
you would not be able to spend your CDBG money. You would not be able to spend that $8 million you got down there for Ox Creek or any of the other federal money that you got coming in. And the reason why, I think I reported to you not long ago that I advertised for bids twice. I believe it was twice, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah.
And
Twice.
we got no bids
No big.
either time.
for what?
Demolition.
Demolition.
Oh, demo.
Yeah. The problems are, as I've stated before, there right now is no shortage of work out here
No.
because these federal dollars are everywhere. And everybody's competing to try to get their projects done as fast as they can because depending upon the source of money, if it's part of the coronavirus money that came out, if it's not done by October 26th, money goes away. If contractors have got to deal with
Paperwork.
some of the stuff that's been put in here, they're not going to bid at all. And that's going to just lock the situation up. And why do that to yourself? Because like I said, everything that you've expressed
Mhm.
is worthy, and there
Right.
are ways to do that.
Mhm.
And a lot of it is actually included within this to the extent that it's reasonable.
Go ahead, Commissioner Henry.
I'd like to, when I sit and listen to the pros and cons of this, I have to ask the question. If you give a projection that next month or next year, if we put this in place, the contractors are not gonna come, can you give me proof that that is an actual, that's happened? Because when I talk to Muskegon, and when I talk to Grand Rapids and Ypsilanti, they were all at the summit this weekend. When I talk to them, they say that the unions provide training and that they have no problem with contractors. You're gonna pay a little bit more, but your people, the people on the ground, they're gonna gather a lot more financial stability because they're gonna be paid a living wage. Now, Davis Bacon, they do. But if nobody enforces that, I went out to a job site and they were all doing work. I said, do you know that you're supposed to be getting prevailing wage? Do you know what my citizens told me? The backup, they getting $10 an hour and they happy. That really frustrates me because I know they cannot pay rent on $10 an hour. And the contractors are making way more. So when I asked the attorney to qualify her statement, what make you think that what proof do you have that we will not give contractors to come in and bid on a job? She made a couple of other talking points, and I'm require her to tell me where the proof is coming from, because you can't predict the future even with a crystal ball. You can't tell me when next year that contractors are not gonna come and get work unless you can prove it.
Respectfully, if there was a $10 an hour, I wouldn't know one of these federal projects because they monitor us to see to it that we do that.
It was our project.
It didn't have anything to do with any federal funds, I can tell you that.
Well,
But the other thing that I'll also share with you is this. Now, I was assistant city manager in Ann Arbor for HR and labor relations. And this probably wouldn't be, well, I know it would be nowhere near the problem for them that it would for us.
Mhm.
Because you've got zillion of contractors there. Same thing in Grand Rapids. You don't have here. You don't have that many. And I'm just telling you, it would not work. I'll make the statement again flatly. If we had that kind of thing again, you could just kiss your federal money goodbye, because you will not be able to spend it. You got timelines on it. In fact, I'm going to send out a letter that just came in from HUD. I saw it when I got back here Tuesday about the expenditure timeline. You know, every year come May 5th, they do that determination as to whether we spent the amount of money. This is our third year. 2 years have already passed where we didn't make it. The closest we've come is right now, and the letter told us you have $184,000 that has to be spent. It's spent and recorded in their system
Mhm.
before the first part of May. Now, I'm making calls and meeting with folks and whatnot right now, estimating and trying to keep everything moving as rapidly as I can so we get that money spent so we don't Because the third time, they put you on a special plan. You gotta go in and meet with the Detroit office, somebody out of Washington, and they change your relationship.
Mm.
We don't need anything else to add to our headaches for trying to do
Sure
this.
don't.
Because that's just like, for example, I thought when I wasn't successful the first time with bidding twice on demolition, that with the time I have remaining, that I could quickly get a few more and add to it. No such thing, because you've gotta supply all this information to SHPO, that's the Historic Society people. They've gotta have time to come back and tell you whether or not it has any historic value. You've gotta supply the whole list to an environmental person to go in and determine whether there's any asbestos in it, and if so, where, and all of that kind of thing. You got hurdles after hurdles after hurdles on all of this stuff that has to be done. And I'm telling you, if you add this to it, you don't even need to talk about it. Just send her the money back, because you're not gonna be able to spend it.
Thank you,
And I'll
Director.
say it again, you're not gonna be able to spend it.
Can you verify that?
Yes, I can verify that.
Please.
I do the work. Who else can verify it?
Well, no, I mean, the
No,
end
I
result,
do the work, and I'm telling you, I cannot do it, and neither can anybody else.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Anybody else.
I hear you.
Thank you, Chief. Chief McGinnis. Thank you, Director, a little bit clarity.
So I'm speaking from a totally
Okay.
objective perspective.
All right.
We can make, I'll say close again. We can make some logical inferences. So let's start with maybe some theories, some logical inferences. I think one of the things we would say is most businesses that are not 501c3 nonprofits, which are those organizations are for the social justice, the social things you're talking about, versus a corporation that's for profit. So people start businesses to make money. Ultimately, the owners of businesses want to make money. You have employees, if you have employees that are union, you're smiling because you get the inference already. So we can say, okay, yeah, we don't necessarily have an example that she can, a hardline example that she can give. However, you can infer from other areas, i.e. the state of California, state of New York, various states, Illinois, that have passed legislation that are causing people to move from places and businesses to move. So that being said, think about people that are applying here
Mm-hmm.
are in the money to make business. And let's not forget, let's just look at another inference. Our grass cutting bidding we do every year. We're getting the same kind of junk every year, aren't we? And we know there's hundreds of people out here to cut grass. We only getting 4 or 5 people that do it. So first thing is we can infer from that there's not a whole lot of people that's rushing into the city of Ben Harbor. That you would agree because you see on your block lots and whatnot. So if you're saying, and they come in the city of Ben Harbor, just regular normal bids, they have to also deal with the income tax and what that entails. And say if you got multiple employees, hold them accountable, yada, yada, yada. Maybe they bid because they have relationships with McKenna or Avonmarsh, it could be. But now we're saying, we're also going to put on you the responsibility to affect somebody socially here that's not necessarily part of this bid, but for the good of the order. Well, that's not their job to try to bring up the next generation. It's not really the city's job to kind of bring up the next generation, if you will. Our job is to govern the city, use the city's funds wisely and efficiently.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a business owner who's in the business, running a business to make profit, squirming. And you say, now we want to add to you the requirement of we're holding you socially responsible to get these people trained up for the job that they're not doing now, but in the future. That's unreasonable. I'll leave you with this. We don't necessarily know. If you're sitting here right now, if you're to jump into a 12-foot pool, you can't swim, you probably would drown.
Right.
We're not seeing you drown, but we can infer if you can't swim, you're gonna drown. Would you agree with that?
Thank you for your comments. Thank you. Go ahead, Rich.
Just while we're talking about mowing and such, responsibility of the city is try to get the work done that's needed to be done
Right.
in an economical fashion.
Right.
With clear specifications and a proper seeking of bids.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of work to be done in that area. Once the job is clearly stated, the quality of the work is checked,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll get what we've been paying for. It's a process for sure.
All right, thank you.
I just want you to know that Luna, the laborers union,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to have a high school diploma to get in the laborers union.
Mm-hmm.
And believe me, one skill that they teach everybody and it's called demolition. They got young people that are trained to demo.
Old people too.
Oh, yeah, old people too, but I'm saying to you, the unions have qualified people to come in and do this. I'm sorry that the human infrastructure is going to be improved, because that's what's going to happen. So even with what the unions train us to do, here's a laborers union that you don't have to have. And they're not testing for marijuana the first time around. They're being compassionate about how they get their people to work. And it's all certified by the state of Michigan and the federal government. Now, I'm not sure what Mr. Little was talking about, that we can't use federal money, but I'm gonna find out about that for sure. But I do know that we went out for 2 times for a demo job. There's 100 people that are laborers from Ben Harbor that have demo experience. There's 2 of them in this room.
I got some former tenants that's experts in demo.
We're talking about not people going out there pulling a boards off with a crowbar. We're talking about operating.
We're not talking about that either.
Then you can tell me you got 2 people in this room that can operate a 977 K or L and do it safely and properly, that they can backfill in basements that they clear out after they crack the floor and remove the wall 2 feet below the surface. But
I guarantee you, you go to the laborers union, you will get a bona fide professional job done.
Respectfully, one thing that sometimes I'll say is not say anything because I don't want to sound like I'm being argumentative.
No.
But the reality is, when this came up before, I listened to an hour debate back and forth about people talking about the union and what the union does. Do people realize the union don't hire nobody? It's the contractor that hires people through the union.
That's better than what.
And the contractor is going to do the drug test and all that because it's his insurance, not the union's insurance. It's the contractor's insurance that has to cover everybody and produce a workman-like job. All the union does is prepares people and says this person has met all of the qualifications and should be able to do what you are saying to do. And if they got a contract with the union, they'll take that person.
Well, thank you everybody for your comments about this. We'll keep on putting this out there and getting some discussions about this. All right, next we're gonna move on to new business, the American Rescue Plan Act funds. I put this on there too. We have $947,000 left of the funds. Cities must obligate their opera funds by December 31st, the end of this year, and spend it by December 26, 2026. We have to obligate this money. I know Director Little been working diligently on, I know he got the CBG and all that, but I know he works with opera funds too, I'm correct?
Yes, sir.
And this money gotta be obligated to go to this, to that. If not, the Treasury is gonna take it back, right? Right?
Yes, we'll be recommending to you ways to most effectively utilize and so that the city gets the biggest bang for its buck.
I'm staying with the guidelines of the federal government. Now, can the commission suggest things too, suggestions, things that we can do under the guidelines of the federal government too? I know they got guidelines, the money can be spent for this and that, but as long as the money is obligated, as commission, can we suggest those suggestions on you too? 'Cause I know you got a lot of ideas and
Certainly, but what I'll be trying to recommend to you is that it be used in ways that it meets the federal requirement,
Right.
but that it also comes back to you where you can use it again.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, see, that's
Say
that's what I'm talking about. Say that one more time.
Say that
Say it one more
right.
time.
Everybody heard it.
Yeah.
Can I
Do it in such
Everybody heard
ways
it.
that can meet the federal requirements, but that once that's done, that money comes back to you so you can reuse it again.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This personal
Could
finance.
you give an example of that, Mr. Little, if you could?
Certainly, if, for instance, let's say a portion was allocated to help to facilitate what we're talking about in terms of housing development. And it's obligated and utilized as part of it. And as soon as that development is completed and those users, your money comes back. It's spending it in accordance with the federal requirement, and you still got that money to reuse again. This money, as opposed to saying this city has had to a liquid fund or even in 40 years.
Yeah. Go ahead, Commissioner Sims.
I know we've been talking about recycling for, quite some time now, looking for different ways. I did see Eagle is requesting some, I think I said it, the RFPs for the state of Michigan, something like $6 million they'll be spreading out. I don't even know what the deadline is, but seeing matching grants support Governor Whitmer's climate priorities. The RFP supplements efforts to grow statewide recycling rate, ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion, and increase access to recycling across the state of Michigan. Recycling infrastructure grants specifically target projects that increase access to recycling infrastructure, buildings, diversity, and all that stuff. So if you get a chance there, if you can look at that, I know you're busy, but I don't know if we could somehow take advantage of that. That might be if one of those instances where the money would come back to us if they needed something that we can do out of this, and it needed a little matching money or something. But like you say, if that project go well, it would come back to us in the form of recycling.
We'll certainly take a look at it. And if I might just add this comment, there are so many grant opportunities out here right now. As a matter of fact, I am right now working on trying to prepare to a submission to go to Senator Peters. And I believe the deadline is coming up in 2 weeks. I'm gonna ask them to consider trying to make a congressional allocation to us, where we could build a new city hall, police and fire station. And a couple of other big ticket type items. One of the things that I've learned many times over the years, and right now we're trying to utilize and work with some local nonprofits. It takes just as much time and effort to prepare a $30,000 grant as it does to prepare a $3 million grant. And we are forced to try and be selective in terms of what we're pursuing, in terms of the needs that the city has. And the city needs everything. It needs everything. You know, so that's part of what we are attempting to try and do. But we're gonna look at everything that's out there and try to see if we can go after it and get it.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. I wanna just throw this out for discussion, for thought.
Okay.
I wanna say the dollar that we've been charged for, late
Dollar.
was not on the bill this month. Somehow that dollar, they charged us for that the red bill when it's late. It was zero this month. As a good thing. So I just wanted to say that. And then I want you to look at the master plan and realize that Carl Brown Incubator is not mentioned in the master plan not one time. There is a picture of 200 Pawpaw, but no mention of 200 Pawpaw. And what has been happening over the years is that, well, they don't even put the mouse traps in 200 Pawpaw anymore. They don't do anything. They just let it go, and it's a building that's just sitting there waiting. And I asked to ask us all, why? And I'm gonna leave that alone because there's a reason why, and that building is not being addressed as what it was built for. And if you went to the summit, you heard them say, small business is the cornerstone of any community, is small business. And what do we have here? None. So Carl Brown Incubator is a questionable thing. And I've been asking for a report out for every entity that received money from Benton Harbor funding. That's through the Benton Harbor Block Grant, and I know that Mr. Mitchell and Mr. Little is busy, but these people should come to us and give us a readout of what they did with the money that we supplied them. And if they don't, I think we should hold them. No, we can't hold the money because we're trying to spend it all. But we got to make them accountable. I can't keep asking Mr. Little and Mr. Mitchell to do it, but I'm asking through the chair if you can contact the soup kitchen, all of the people that we're paying, community action agents, that doing things that we're giving money for, to come and give us a report out. And it should come through the committee. And I'm asking you to please put that together so we can get a report out of what what they're doing, because Mr. Little is looking to give them some more money.
And I can give you the report you're looking for. I prepare and submit it to HUD every month.
I'm sorry?
I said I prepare that information and submit it to HUD every month.
Look, I'm not HUD, Mr. Little. I'm Commissioner Henry of the 3rd Ward. And the rest of us are not heard. So it
I'll
is
be
our
glad
money,
to present
and,
you
and
the
you
information.
can't spend it unless you ask us to do that.
That's correct.
And I'm asking for a report of what these entities have did with our money. And I'm asking you, because I can't ask him anymore.
What he
I'm
said,
asking you, Chair, to make that happen for us. Thank you.
Director Little, can we send that report out?
We can do that. I'll have it before or by the next of these meetings. Once again, no, just an explanation.
Mhm.
One person. When I say I'm sending it to HUD, I'm using the time necessary to put that together. When I'm doing, the work to send in to the, senator, still one person. I just have to put it in that list and get to it and get it done. I will do that.
Thank you, Director Little. Appreciate your.
Honorable Chair, they should come in and tell us. They should come in and tell us what
Okay,
they've done.
okay.
We shouldn't put it on our staff. He's busy enough.
But you're misunderstanding. They are doing what we're asking them to do. They're
I'm
doing.
not unless they coming in here to tell us what they doing. They're not doing what we're asking them to do. Because I'm asking them, through the chair, to come and tell the whole world what they're doing with our money. That's all I'm asking, is for understanding and being transparent with what's going on with the citizens' money.
Thank you.
Can we get through the chair?
I'll communicate with him.
Thank you, sir.
And from Director Little too. We can get both.
Yes, I'm good, as long as we do.
Thank you, everybody. This has been a great meeting. Thank you, Director Little, for doing a great job. Chief for hanging out. Mr. Roberts, Mr. Duncan, always Commissioner Henderson, pleasure to have you in the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk.
I didn't give you no history lesson, but I'll give it to you next time.
Thank you, Clerk Moore.
Would you drive the case with?
Thanks, sir.